Redheads. Redheads.
So sick. So sick.
Redheads. Welcome to Redheads, your West Coast-based Liverpool Football Club podcast.
Number one, baby.
I am your co-host, Ian Locke, joined as always by my co-host, James Morris. James, tell everyone how you're doing.
Ian, I'm your co-host, but I'm the people's co-host too. I'm doing well, in spite of the fact that everything seems to be doing pretty poorly. I'm happy not to be hosting this episode. This seems like a really good one to just sit back and sort of shoot from the hip while you try to just dodge, weave, and duck past all this awful news that's coming in left, right, and center.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to try my hardest on this one either. So,
well, that sounds like a redhead to me.
I have activated cruise control, hands off the steering wheel. I'm in a Waymo,
You're taking a page out of Verge's book, I think.
Absolutely. Well, as James just, stated, we will be talking about the disastrous game against Bournemouth, the ending of our 13-game unbeaten streak, one of the worst unbeaten streaks I've ever seen personally. Well, like I said, we'll see how in depth we get into that. We'll also discuss the Qarabag, the final game of the Champions League group stage.
Big game.
And then maybe just other stuff. But is there anything you want to just, you're talking about shooting from the hip, but is there anything you want to get off your chest before we dive into this game, James? I am now trying to steer clear from this. Yeah, I'm trying not to talk about this.
Off the top of the dome, it's tough to say. I'm really looking forward to getting into what Slot was saying this afternoon. I think that it's sort of starting to ring the death knells that you see from managers like Ten Hag.
Are you talking about the pre-match conference?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. I didn't see anything of that, so you're gonna have to fill me in. But let's just get into it, James. So this was a bad game. This was the game after the Marseille match that happened on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday?
Yeah, the We're So Back game.
The We're So Back game. It was a game that, we changed formation. As you stated previously, it was a match against a De Zerbi team. Those are always very high intense games, a lot of man-to-man marking, which we did. And it was a game also that we didn't do anything in terms of subs late. So I think heading into the game against Bournemouth, I think a lot of people were a little nervous about just the lack of physical, or the physicality this game would bring, but also just the lack of
legs, maybe.
Yeah, legs that we would have going into this one, and it showed, given that we conceded 2 goals in the first half, but. It was the same lineup for the most part, at least same formation going into this game. It was
same formation,
kind of like
yeah.
Yeah, it was like a 4-2-2-2 with Gakpo starting instead of Ekitike.
Right, that was the big one.
That was the big one, and then you also had Gomez slotting in at center back. But going into this game, were you under the impression that there was going to be, I don't know, less gung-ho action from Liverpool?
I thought that Bournemouth, don't do what our kryptonite is. Granted, our kryptonite seems to be just having 11 men on the field, right?
Yeah.
But they don't sit back with 5 men behind the ball, 5 men, 10 men. They don't park the bus, is what I'm trying to say. So not the exact same flowing football that Marseille plays, but attacking football. So
yeah, this is like team. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, hit it.
I was going to say, this is the team that we played the first game of the season, and it was, a goal fest. It was 4-2. It was kind of basketball in a sense that it was back and forth. But they had Semenyo at the time. They are currently going through a pretty horrible injury crisis. And I believe this would also have been, I think they were going through a pretty bad spell as well in terms of.
I think they had one win in 14 going into this game.
That, and also I think they were the worst team in terms of losing points when going ahead in games, like losing points from a winning position.
Well, they were up 2 goals, and then we did tie it up.
There you go. And so it was I think like a lot of things like that were kind of going in our favor, especially going off that Bourne or the Marseille game where, like you said, it was we were so back.
We were so back, and I mean, there is one thing I wanted to say about the selection, which I guess we'll get into,
Yeah,
or let's get into it right now. You know, you
sure.
mentioned that Ekatike dropped to the bench for Gakpo, and that was really just
Yeah,
legs or freshness, whatever you want to say.
and you could
Um,
tell when he came on that he's not fit at all for whatever reason.
right, it was pretty shocking. So I guess my comment doesn't work as well in hindsight.
Okay,
But what I thought was weird is if you're in my mind, you're benching Ekatike and playing Gakpo uh,
right.
for freshness, but also so that, you know, Bournemouth, who are, you know, pretty decimated by injuries themselves and who also really fade at the end of games, they don't have a bench move. And so I guess
Hmm,
in my mind, the move is, you know, you bring Ekatike on at 60, and even if it's tied at that point, you're the one with all the impetus and you go on to win the game. That's the thought. And so I
sure.
didn't understand why, if Frimpong could only play 60 minutes, why Frimpong then started. I would have I would have liked to see
Right.
Frimpong and Ekatike come on at the same time.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pre-planned subs for this game. Like you said, Frimpong came off pretty early.
Yeah.
Kirkes came off at halftime. And then also this is not including that Gomez, you know, got injured in the first half. So I think there was just a lot of mitigating factors that held off that Katike sub for so long, or like even just starting was that we just there were just other players that were, as Salah has said, like they're in the red, so can't go a full 90 minutes, which is just weird in comparison to last season when we were praising this management team in terms of keeping players fit and healthy, and now none of them can last that long, especially players like Kirkes, who, you know, has played a whole season in the Premier League, so he kind of knows how to function. Anyway,
No, I
that
agree. I
that
don't understand, you know, a 25-year-old professional athlete, 25 I'm using roundly, but, you
yeah.
know, a dude in their 20s whose job is to play soccer should be able to play a full match. I really don't understand.
I know, and the whole preseason thing, like the whole preseason comments where it's like, you know, like Ekatike didn't really I don't he got signed in the summer when the preseason was already starting. I don't remember when he signed exactly, but like they were saying like he didn't really have a preseason. And I'm like, is preseason the most important thing to every single player on this team? Like you have to have a preseason in
Yeah,
order to be a functioning player.
go for a
So,
jog, guys.
but even players like McAllister, who looks like so unfit this season. So I don't know. It's really confusing, but yeah, I mean, I think the Gomez injury really messed us up for that, especially that first half. But like I think in terms of like how we're gonna manage this game, it kind of capitulated right then and there.
You know, I think that's fair enough, especially for the second goal, which probably doesn't happen if there are 11 men on the field. But the second goal was, I'm still upset. I don't
We'll talk
understand.
about it.
Okay, I'm getting too far ahead. You tell me what we're
I mean,
talking about.
you're talking about the second goal. We had to still talk about this first goal.
The first goal,
It,
the first goal.
James, I don't understand how every team that we face, their first chance on target is just a 99% goal. Like is the XG is like through the roof. And once again, it's their first attack. Evan Nielsen gets the goal from just I gotta say, like probably one of Van Dijk's worst games I've seen. Just like very lackadaisical on the ball. This was just a ball that um was it just like it was just a long pass
Just a
to I
lumped
don't know
long ball. Yeah,
lumped ball. Van Dijk kind of puts his leg out lazily, doesn't touch the ball. Could have put his ball out. Could have put his body out for the second chance, and doesn't do that. There's so many opportunities for him to have put his body on the line to like conceded a corner or
and
anything,
and
and
not even really
instead,
on the line. I mean, it
yeah,
was just normal. He could have just played sort of standard defense. A ball came towards him. He could have gotten in the way. That's really what was happening.
yeah, it was very much just the body language of someone who's like winning 4-0. You know what I mean? It was not. It was like it was so lazy and it was very infuriating. And I think a lot of people are, you know, I feel like Van Dyke is a very relaxed, chill person, like as a captain and as a player. And I think sometimes that gets on people's nerves, especially when you're in a dogfight, like a game like this, where you kind of need just to hoof the ball up, just like do something uncool for once.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's relaxed or maybe nonchalance, and then
Yeah.
there's sort of not giving a shit, which is what this seemed like. And
Yeah,
then,
and
so like you said, he's kind of sticks his leg out, misses the ball, could have gotten in the way of the pass, doesn't do that. So they score, and as a result, Gomez is sprinting back to try to get, make a stop himself.
yeah,
Gets tackled by Ali. He's hurt, and then Van Dijk has the gall to be angry at his teammates after, as if
it's
it
so
was, yeah,
I'm watching the highlights right now. It was literally a long ball from essentially the center circle.
yeah, yeah.
And I guess, you hear these players, they blame the wind, they blame the rain. It was rainy and it was windy. I will give him that. But these are just conditions that you just know going into the game. Like you just know that's going to happen. It's not like the wind just started at the
Well,
25th minute when
there's
that
this
goal went
other
in.
part of, so it was raining for Van
Sure.
Dijk, but it was also raining
Also, I think
for
it
Evan
rains a lot in
Nilsson.
England,
I think that it
right?
was
Does it?
raining for Bournemouth as well.
Right, yeah.
They seem to control it just fine.
You're also, yeah, it just, this is a country where it rains a lot, and
And
when
we're
it rains, it
being
pours.
ridiculous about this, but that's because of how ridiculous this was.
It's because the way, again, given the talking head stuff that they got from Van Dijk at the end of the game, it just feels like a lack of responsibility on his
Yeah,
part, again, being the
completely.
captain. And you could tell, like, from this goal and the second goal that he was also at fault for, that he's like yelling at his other teammates. And I get it, maybe like you're trying to like save face or whatever. But again, it feels like he's like the amalgamation of the season, or it just kind of feels like it just abject, like whatever. Just feel like it just feels like a hands up performance. But for that first goal, so yeah, just loses the first ball, and then loses out on the second chance. Evan Nielsen puts it in, and like I just said, when it rains, it pours. Joe Gomez essentially messes up. I think he collides with Allison
Yeah,
actually
he collides with
for that
Allison.
goal,
Yep.
and he's just injured now. And it took us 7 minutes to get the ball out, and we were playing with 10 men on the field.
Yeah, and we were in possession multiple times. I mean, I heard that
Yeah.
Joe won't be playing. This is a little preview of our Qarabag preview. He won't be playing this
Sure.
week because of swelling. It's like, yeah, no shit, he has swelling. He got kneed in the face by Allison.
Right, yeah. And now, yeah, I'm at the point too where I guess I should have been, his entire career, but I am at the point where he just doesn't count as a player for Liverpool.
Yeah,
Like
I'm with you.
You shouldn't count him as like a sub or as an option at all, because now we are going into Qarabag. We are down to one senior defender and Virgil van Dijk. And even when we had Joe Gomez, we were still down to one senior defender and Virgil van Dijk. So
Yep.
just really annoying. But yeah, just to piggyback off the second goal. So Joe Gomez gets injured. We see him hobble off the field. And like you said, we are in possession of the ball a few times, and whatever like game management, you know, there was just no identity of that on the field for those 7 minutes, where we don't kick the ball out, we don't commit a foul to bring on the sub, who ended up being Endo. Excuse me, but I think that was the most infuriating part. Obviously, the goal sucks, but just the
Yeah.
ability
Go
to
ahead.
not manage that situation, because you're already down a player. Like all these players know that. It was again, like, it just felt so boneheaded from a team that, like, you can't really make mistakes right now for Liverpool this season, because when you make a mistake, you will concede chances, and when you concede chances, they'll just score. And it just seemed like it feels like Liverpool came and do back to basic stuff, because you and I have talked on this podcast about, like, Liverpool have to be perfect
Just don't
to
be
win a game.
stupid. But it's not
Just
as
don't be stupid, and we constantly are stupid.
I mean, so I'm looking right now. The goal, Evan Nilsson scores on 26 in the 26th
Yeah.
minute.
Yeah.
Jimenez, who scores the second goal for Bournemouth, and who I think was what doesn't matter, but so that goal comes in on the 33rd, meaning that there are 7 minutes during which we could have passed the ball out to make a substitution. Endo gets subbed on in the 35th, so we basically played 10 minutes down to 10 men, when at any point we could have passed the ball out and made that substitution.
And I guess maybe too, I also get it maybe from the management perspective where you're putting on a player who I don't remember the last time Endo has played. So maybe you're trying to give him some minutes to just like warm up. I guess I can kind of understand that because like in the 31st minute, we have a shot on goal from Gakpo. So like he could have put the ball out of play around that time, but they didn't. So maybe there was a communication from the management. It's just hard not to see this from the perspective of a fan, and you're just
Well,
like,
there are
what are you
clips of
doing?
Slot shouting, hit it out,
Right.
shouting at
Yeah.
Virgil, shouting at Allison. I really don't know what to make of it because to me, it
No.
seems as if that it's hard to take that as anything other than we're not listening to the manager anymore. That he's lost the dressing
Yeah.
room. The proverbial dressing rooms are lost.
Yeah. And I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know how you feel about this, but I kind of feel a little numb to everything. Like when the second goal when the second goal went in, I was like, yeah,
Yep.
figures.
Yep.
Also, like, you know, you and I both live on the West Coast. I would say we have it harder than most. People in England will be watching this game at night, and having their weekend ruined in the evening. You and I, we got our weekends ruined like at the beginning of the day
Saturday at 7
on
a.m.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because because I'm making pancakes during this time. The game's going on. I'm making pancakes, and at least I tell myself at least I have pancakes at the end of this.
That helps. Look,
It does help.
You're in for a delightful day with the Liverpool win and a pancake breakfast.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, you know who I like? Alex Scott for Bournemouth. I wouldn't mind having him in this Liverpool team. He looks good in the headband. Anyway, James.
Well, look, he's a midfield body, and at this point, we'll kind of take anyone that we can get. I agree.
Yeah, I guess we're not getting Harvey Elliott back. Who knows what's happening there? But James, have you heard that?
Tell me, ask me.
Have you heard that we're back on the set piece game? We are slowly ticking away the set piece goals. Because I remember, I think, was it the last episode or the episode before where you were mentioning the set piece goal difference? And it was pretty horrible.
It was
right?
-9 at the time in the league.
We're chipping away. We're chipping away at that because Van Dijk scores a corner, James. I don't know. I guess ever since we fired the set piece coach, now we learned how to score. I don't know if that logic works, but it's happening.
I mean, I think that there's got to be at least a little coincidence going on in this, but it is pretty shocking. We fired the set piece coach, and we haven't conceded from at least a corner kick since. That's been all the way back to Leeds.
Right.
We concede against Leeds, and then he gets fired. So that's been 5 matches now during which we haven't conceded, which shouldn't be remarkable, but given our record, honestly, it is. And at the same time, now we're scoring them as well. I made a comment that I just wanted us to be net even from here on out to the end of the season. And if you count free kick goals, which we're about to talk about,
you have to. Yeah.
Then, hey, we're positive, baby.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I mean, you have players. So Szoboszlai got the assist for this corner. I thought our corners were actually pretty good this game. Yeah, Szoboszlai taking him and Salah.
I thought it was a great corner. I mean, Van Dijk doesn't even win the header with his head. It bounced off his shoulder. My point is, it's rifled in sort of so dangerously from Szoboszlai that any contact is going to, get into the net.
Right. And, scoring a goal on halftime, it's a pretty big boost to the dressing room, I'd say. So I thought going in the second half, because we score right on the streak of halftime.
Yeah.
We got a game here. I think that from my perspective that we have the players to score goals. And, I think that we have, I don't know, just given the Marseille game, we have this tactical advantage too, as well. And, boy, was I wrong. But...
we didn't know how poor Ekitike was going to be. I'm also thinking, hey, 60th minute, here comes Le Garçon.
Right, that's right. And that was not the case. So anyway, let's talk about it because, I would say that I can't really recall much of the second half, James. I don't know about you, but the free kick comes in the 8th minute, kind of at the very tail end of the game. Definitely the tail end of the game.
And one by Rio, which I have to confess that they brought Rio on about 77, I want to say, for Gakpo. And I thought, when we're in the situation where our ripcord. We pull the ripcord into 17-year-old. We're not going to be winning games. And then Rio comes on, plays great, wins this free kick. Ye of little doubt, ye of little faith.
Right. I wonder if we're. I know he is good, but I wonder if it's just like a comparison to Gakpo, where like he's coming on for a player not as effective as Gakpo, even though like you and I said for the Marseille game, we thought he looked great as a sub. I still don't buy him as a starter. He still seems to be like a paint by numbers type of player. But yeah, like I think Rio actually he does take his opposing defender on. He does like to do step overs. He likes to beat. Yeah, exactly. He has the speed to beat the player. But
beats
he wins the free kick, which he beats him off. Is he still a minor?
He beats him off.
He beats him off. Anyway, but he does win the free kick. So like he is a net positive when he's on the field.
Right on the edge of the box too. I mean, it's if it's 18-yard box, this is 19 yards away. It was well placed.
Right. But actually, before we get on that, let's talk about the subs, because as you said before, run at halftime, or coming back from halftime, excuse me, Robertson comes on for Kirkez, and this is after all of the Robertson going to Tottenham rumors, not even rumors, like true, like this could happen.
Right. Right.
And I thought, he was solid, he was fine. And then Curtis comes on for Frimpong, so we see Szoboszlai back in the right back spot.
Yep.
And then Ekitike also comes on for McAllister. So we have another attacking formation switch. But yeah, like you said, like Ekitike pretty underwhelming too in the opportunity that I think Evan Nielsen puts just wide of the post, where he basically just waltzes. They just like waltz right through the midfield. This is right before they scored the winner.
Yeah, but that was horrendous.
Him and I believe Jones, a few other players, just like
Gravenberg for me was the worst offender in that clip, and it was really like we've just downed tools. We're not here to win this game.
Yeah,
I mean Bournemouth jogged 75 yards, uncontested.
Yeah, it's true, and it's one of those things where as I said before, this is a team that is going through a pretty significant injury crisis, all this other stuff, and they looked like they had just like their tails were up again, given how Liverpool have reacted in these situations and other games. So they know that we're a pretty wounded animal. But let's get to the free kick.
We're just leaving the door open and inviting everyone in,
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk free kicks. Not everything's dark.
Pretty spectacular. Comparing this one to the Marseille one, this one's awesome. This one was really cool. It was a great little back heel. Would you call not an assist, but like a little back heel placement?
It is an assist, but yeah, just a little touch off. It's funny too, Salah, I would say, did not perform so well. I was expecting a lot more, or certainly hoping for a lot more from him in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But for him to come away with an assist, there's sort of a famous clip from like 2011 when Busquets passes the ball to Messi in his own half. Messi dribbles 60 yards and scores, and they're talking about like why
11 players.
Right. It's like why assists are a bad stat. That's what I'm calling this one from Mo too. It's not quite the Busquets level, but it's up there.
Hey man, add it to the tally. Add the assist to the tally. But yeah, it was a great free kick. Again, like Szoboszlai, easily player of the season, and probably will be crowned that once this disaster is put to rest.
Right.
But it's the 80th minute, and there's an opportunity for us to win this game. And it kind of just feels like the same thing with Burnley, where we have complete control of that second half, all the possession, and we don't do anything with the ball. We literally complete. I actually don't have the shots in front of me, but not good.
Yeah, I mean, we're harmless in front of we're harmless on the ball, harmless in front of goal. I'm looking 4 shots on target. One is a corner, one is the free kick, one is that weak Gakpo effort that leads to the Bournemouth second goal, and I couldn't tell you what the fourth one is, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
but
I mean, in the second half alone, we have 8 shots to Bournemouth's 9, and then 2 shots on target compared to their 3. So right,
and one of them is the free kick.
Right, and we have 73% of the possession. Right, like we have the majority, and again, it's just it just feels so uninventive. It just and this is why people are frustrated, because it's not like, and I don't want to compare Slot to Klopp, or the teams, but like it isn't the swashbuckling football that we're used to, where you're like, okay, we have 10 minutes and some change to get a winner. And that never feels like it's a possibility. Like I don't remember, besides those first 5 games of the season, where the stoppage time winners were like the greatest thing ever.
Clockwork. Yep.
And now it feels like that'll never come again.
Yeah, I doubt anyone watching this game thought, we scored in the 80th. Liverpool are more likely to win this game than Bournemouth were. I think I was holding out for a draw. I didn't think that we would concede until we sort of got to that point in extra time when we're guaranteed to concede here. But yeah, the XG never tells really the complete story. I've said this before, but to see Bournemouth with 2.35 and Liverpool with 0.9, I mean, the way that this works so that you're not upset after the result is Liverpool have 2.3, Bournemouth have 0.9. Somehow the game ends 3-2, and you're like, look, we are peppering their goal. Their keeper is man of the match. If you play this game 10 times, we win 9. But the reality is if we play this game 10 times, we lose 9. It's a miracle that we scored 2. That free kick's not going in every week.
Right. Yeah. It's just frustrating. And again, it just feels like, yeah, you kind of just feel numb to it. You kind of just like, this is the season in a nutshell.
We're in the depression stage of grief.
We have control of games, but concede late. And
we don't have control of games. Is really what I would say.
Well, I mean, in terms of possession, we have control. Like we just have large swaths of possession, but do nothing with it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty meaningless because, like, at the end of the game, the expected goals, which I don't know, like, if you care about, I don't really care about the expected goal stuff. It just doesn't mean much. But
that's what I was just saying.
It was at 2.3. Yeah, 2.3 to Liverpool's 0.87, which is just like, which is nuts. It's just there's like no efficiency in this team, and everyone is just afraid to. I wonder if it's like players are afraid to concede the ball in those areas because they know they can be easily countered on. And is that why they just hold on to the ball until there's a clear-cut chance? Because I don't know what the point of all this possession is if you're not gonna, I don't know, do anything. And we have players like Wirtz and McAllister who have abilities to like unlock defenses.
Well, McAllister, did once upon a time. Wirtz has been quite confusing in the last couple of games. I'm not blaming him certainly, but he hasn't helped against Burnley and against Bournemouth. He's been pretty poor. He'll come back around. He's absolutely not the problem. But
who will come back around? Okay, yeah. I thought you were talking about McAllister. I don't know if he's long for this team.
I don't know either. Yeah, it's sad. It's a sad state of affairs. I'm not sure where you are in terms of talking about Bournemouth, but talking about Liverpool in general, things are bad. Things look bad. Things sound bad. It sucks. It's sad to think, we're in a position where probably more than half of fans are ready for the league-winning manager to walk out the door.
I mean, that's definitely what it feels like.
Absolutely, it does.
And I mean, like, I'm looking at our past games. The fact that he went from, September 27th is when we lost that awful game to Crystal Palace, right? So that's September. And then we go on a 4-game losing streak, beat Frankfurt, and then lose to Brentford and then Crystal Palace again. And there's just like a lot of red I'm seeing on my phone, James. And usually red indicates a loss.
Yeah, that's the convention. Well, yeah, we lost 9 of 12 at a certain point. That's the period you're talking about.
I guess it is strange in a sense because you see teams like Manchester United and Chelsea, and no, I don't think we should compare ourselves to them, but they fire their managers, and now there seems to be an upward tick of points total and just overall, just like play
just
style.
Ambiance seems pretty positive.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Liverpool are going to cut ties with Arne Slot again, the person who won us the league last season. But now this season is different. It's a new season, and it just seems like this is just going to be like, depending on how things will go in the Champions League, which we'll talk about, it seems like he'll get to the end of the season, which I think you and I have also said that is probably the case.
Yeah. As a couple of red gurus, we've been saying he gets at least until the summer. But look, there's a run of results, I think, that sees him out the door sooner. For example, if he loses to Qarabag, we've got Newcastle, City, and Brighton, I think, in our next 3 in the league. And,
That's a shame.
there's a pretty realistic situation where we get 2 points. I mean, honestly, we could get 0. I don't think that'll happen. But, we get 2
I mean,
points, and Man U, for example, gets 7, and now it's a 7-point gap to 4th.
yeah,
I think the conversation gets interesting, put it that way.
yeah, it's true because I do think like this season more than ever. I mean, the Champions League is always very important to Liverpool in terms of the money outlet that you get, but
Right.
also just in terms of prestige. Like
Right,
I
like,
think we're the winningest team in England.
yeah, when they show the Champions League montage, you want them to show like Lamine Yamal score a goal, Harry Kane, and then they cut to Mo. I guess Flo these days.
Right. Yeah. So, um, yeah, it's like we're truly looking up now in terms of Champions League spots, and there's a true reality where we could miss out. So it is one of those things where I'm like, I wonder if that's even like in their mind because we also did spend like what 500 million. How much did we spend this year? We
It's
spent a lot of money on
about
players.
450.
Yeah. So, I'm sure they'd like to recoup some of that money somehow. But we haven't even talked about the final goal. Let's just say long throw in from Bournemouth, chaos in the box, and they score. That's pretty much it. And it's
It's the 95th.
stoppage, yeah, stoppage time winner. You saw it coming a mile away.
Yep. Yep. As soon
And
as it started bouncing around, I looked away. I didn't even watch the goal
right,
go in.
yeah. So that's a shame.
Yeah, it didn't make me
And we
happy.
lose. Yeah, we lose. And at the end of the game, Van Dijk says very disappointed. We worked hard to get back into the game and concede late. And to concede that late is very disappointing. And I feel like that has been his like talking point each loss, which is
Which
like,
is to
it
say, like,
sucks.
no talking point.
Which is like
Yeah.
nothing, which
No
again,
fire,
it
no
feels,
responsibility. It is pretty frustrating.
yeah,
That's honestly, he's taken a real page from Slot's book, is what I'm saying.
yeah. They're both Dutch. I mean, like, they're
I
Dutch
do need
people
reminding.
they truly don't really wear their emotions on their sleeves. So, yeah, it's a bummer. And, add on top, we lose Joe Gomez. He's not going to play in this game versus Qarabag. Konate won't play due to the death of his father. I think he'll be out for that game as well. So it's looking like we'll probably have Endo play with Van Dijk. And,
I
you
think it's
know,
possible they start Grav back there too, and then Jones comes in.
that's totally an
Yeah.
option. That's totally an option. And, you know, looking at the Champions League table, so we are in 4th. And
But it makes for good reading. Top 4.
if we win, we guarantee, I think, at least a top three or definitely top 4 spot.
Well,
if we
yeah,
win.
we're not going to go down.
Right. And then if we draw, I think that we can teeter in the playoffs. So like draw or if we draw or lose, it's like we might see ourselves in the playoffs, and that's just not something we really want.
Yeah, our goal
So,
difference is shit, especially after PSV.
yeah.
And I think there are 5 or 6 teams who could equal our points tally if we draw.
Yeah. So this kind of is a must-win game, and it gets at Qarabag side, who, they're in the playoffs, and the way, like they've scored a lot of goals. Like
Right,
they drew
they're sort of an attacking team. They drew with Chelsea.
They drew with Chelsea 2-2.
They're in
I mean,
17th, which is pretty respectable. I honestly thought I went to look for them, and I scrolled right down to the bottom, thinking they'd be like 32nd. But I
right.
guess they're pretty decent. I don't know a lot about them, I have to confess.
Azerbaijan, I'm just happy that we're not there playing, because that flight is how I don't
It's
know
almost
how
like
much, but
me to you.
if only. But yeah, it's essentially a must-win game, not only just to keep this position in the Champions League, but also just like
Just to bail
vibes.
water out of this shit that's sinking.
Yeah, because we seem to be, we're definitely better in the Champions League than the league. And it would just be nice to kind of keep that momentum going. But yeah, if we lose this game, it's I don't think Slot gets fired, but it's like how many more like lashes can he get,
Yeah. I agree. I think a loss tomorrow isn't quite the straw that breaks the camel's back, but it's it's another brick of cement on his feet, and we're about to throw him into the lake.
Yeah.
It's coming. It's coming. I'm not sure if it's any way for it not to come at this point. even if we get to the summer
Right.
and we get top 4 or maybe fifth happens to qualify for the Champions League this time, which is what happened last year.
Right.
Unless the mood changes dramatically, it just seems like there's no way he continues either way.
I don't know, because I mean, again, you and I don't live in Liverpool, so we have no idea what
Proudly,
like the
proudly.
fan. Yeah, proudly.
Yep.
We don't know what the fan like talking points are after games, like in the stadium. But from what I've heard and read, they're not great.
Well, from what you've
Um,
heard of the booze too, right? That's
right,
pretty
that's
rare.
right. And then, I think I said this in the last episode that I proudly deleted my Twitter account. Gotta say, James, I made a new one and I am back on Twitter and I am checking out everything that's going on. And people
Let
are
the hate flow
not
through
happy.
you. That's right.
Yeah. I truly feel like a Sith Lord every time I log into Twitter.
Hey, I don't have a Twitter, but if you're selling it on that point, I might have to
Yeah.
get one.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Badass.
But I don't even know, like in terms of lineup. I don't
Right.
know.
So,
I'm assuming it's the same. Like Ekatike will most likely play. I'm assuming it's the same lineup from this game.
yeah. Well, I think
Sans
Ekatike starts. That's why
Gomez.
he was on the bench from the start against
Hmm.
Bournemouth to keep him fresh for this
Right.
game. I think the question is, well, there's a couple. One,
Yeah.
Endo or Gravenberch. I think Frimpong has to start, and
Yeah.
then similarly, if Gravenberch is in the back line, then does Jones start as the holding midfielder?
Maybe.
Does he play Endo? I think I'd be shocked if that happens.
Do we do this 4-2-2-2 lineup again? Like what?
Right,
Like
and so does
those
Ekatike come in for Gakpo, or do
okay.
they play Gakpo, Ekatike, and Salah? I think that
Because
there are a
Robertson
couple
can
things
also
going
play
on.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, the
So
Robertson one is interesting as well because it looks like they're trying to push him out the door because apparently 5 million is worth more than a club legend getting us through to the end of the season.
also just like insane to sell a player when you have no players. Like I
Right.
don't understand what the thinking is on that.
I mean, I think the thinking is they've just completely they've lost the plot. The slot's plot's
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah. Nice. I love it. Um have you seen the new Naked Gun movie?
Yeah, I have.
That when he gets the thing from the deposit box and it's just plot
Plot
device.
device. Yeah.
Very funny. Um yeah, I don't know. I honestly, James, also I don't care. I really just don't care about who plays in this game. As long as we win. And also like there's not really options. I mean, maybe this can lead us into transfer talk, which there is none. But I don't see us
Right.
buying a
I'm
player
going to open up my
with
transfer
what?
book. It's empty. I'm going to close it again.
Yeah, a fly comes out of your wallet. Um, what the transfer window closes this Saturday.
So sick.
There have been no
So sick.
rumors. There's been nothing. We have lost Bradley to injury for the rest of the season. Isak until April. Gomez is touch and go. So all this stuff, and it's just I guess nothing's going to happen until the summer. Which is a shame. Again, like long term plan, maybe that makes sense, but for short term, for a fan, pretty underwhelming.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Well, look, the season just got away from us, to put it lightly, right? But
Yeah,
to have this sort of mix of long and short term planning, you sign these players like Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak. You're not expecting Isak to miss the entire season, but
right.
Leone. These are all sort of non-short term
Yeah.
signings. You're
Hmm.
looking for them to be great, hopefully this first season, but really over the next like 3. But then at the same time,
Yeah.
you re-sign Salah and Virgil. Those sorts of signings are to win today.
Yeah.
And so
Exactly.
if you want to win today, then what are we doing this January? We're making plans to win in 2027, and it
Yeah,
just
because
this like scattergun approach is obviously not working.
right, and it's just annoying too, given the fact that Salah probably won't. He signed a 2-year contract last year. He probably won't stay the last year. He might go this summer. Uh, so it's kind of like it was one of those things where it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't in terms of signing him
For
because I
sure.
think
Yeah. The fan
everyone would have
backlash
thought,
would have been
yeah, it would have been really bad. But yeah, it's a bummer to feel like we're waving the white flag in January when in reality it's like we could there are holes that can be plugged and we have the ability to do that.
yeah, I got
And yeah,
5
we'll
fingers
see.
right here, man.
There you go. You're like a little Dutch boy with his finger in the
Little hole
dam.
plugger.
That's right. James the hole plugger.
Not proud of that one. Not proud of that one.
No, it's not good. Well, I mean, it'll be interesting to see, like, if we get this top 4 spot, it'll be interesting to see who we get in the playoff round, because I was looking at the teams in these playoff positions. There's a lot of good teams. Juventus, Atletico Madrid. These are like tough teams. So
yeah,
I don't think regardless we'll have it's not going to be an easy runway.
Well, last year, of course, we got PSG, and that was the end of our Champions League run.
And we won. We won the league that year.
Well, right. That's right. We came first. We came top. Yeah. And Barcelona, I forget.
Price is that?
I forget who Barcelona got, but they got someone that you would want, because Barcelona came second last season, and they got,
right.
This is not right, I'm sure, but Porto, they got something like that. Which, that's the idea. The other thing that I just learned is that in the top 4, you get a guaranteed home draw round of 16. Yeah. So that's nice too. Look, you're right. You might get PSG when you come top, but that doesn't make it better to come 6th.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's incentives, built-in incentives to come into those automatic qualifying spots.
Yeah, and Juventus, they're shit too. Well, I'll take them.
Yeah, hey, we'll take anybody.
Hey, we'll take them.
Hey, come on.
Well, that's a pretty good Juventus accent, I think, dude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Torino? Is that where they're at? Turin.
Yeah. I think Torino's in Turin. I think they're sort of an eponymous team.
Yeah, I know my Europe. Let's see. What else can we talk about, James? I'm kind of floundering over here now that
I got you, because there's one thing that I wanted to bring up. It sounds like you didn't see this, and I have to look. It's a work day here. For us Yanks, the press conference happens, and we're right dab in the middle of work. But I saw the headline that I guess you haven't seen, Ian, that Slot came out and said, this is going to be an unpopular thing to say, but maybe the reason why we won the league last season is because we lost to PSG. You didn't see anything of this?
Okay. So, because he was saying like the less games that he had to...
Right.
Okay.
Which is a crazy thing to say, because first we played PSG in March. So we played the same number of games leading up to it. Plus we got to the League Cup final. That's additional games that last season compared to this. Go ahead.
Yeah. He's saying a lot of things. He just sometimes...
That's exactly where I'm going with this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I used to think that he was pretty well composed and spoke well. Not that I guess that he's speaking out of turn. It's not really composure, but it's the sort of things he's saying now. You're getting to the point where they don't really make sense. So like this, right, we played PSG in March. The other thing is that when we lost to PSG, we were more than 10 points ahead in the league. We're right, on penalty. True. So, and then we were worse. Our league results were much worse after PSG than before. So whether or not you think, well, there's nothing to think about really, that we were much better while we were in the Champions League than afterwards.
It's hard to interpret him, because like he could be saying that just to deflect from his players, getting blame or whatever. Also, like now I feel like we're starting to see, because Slot had, besides that the Newcastle game and the EFL Cup and the PSG game, he had a pretty good season, all told. And there wasn't that much adversity. And now he's been given a season with all sorts of adversity.
Yeah.
And now I feel like a lot of things that he's saying people are latching onto. So stuff like this, where like if he said this last year and we were in a pretty good position, people wouldn't care. But now it's annoying everyone because it just doesn't seem like anyone's taking responsibility for the situation.
Well, and we're already annoyed.
And we're already annoyed.
You say something annoying to me and I'm in a good mood, water off a duck's back, But when I'm kind of angry, and look, so you bring up a good point, I think, which is Slot has to talk to the media 10 times a week. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so if he says one thing in 100, that's kind of annoying. It's just it's gonna explode, which is what this is doing. And so I think that you honestly make a great point, which is to say, he can't shut up. Like he's legally compelled to speak.
It's in his contract that he has to speak to these people who ask dumb questions sometimes.
Right. In fact, I'm glad I brought this up now because I already feel better. And fuck the media, which includes us technically, fan media.
We're part of
Fair
the media.
media.
Yeah. You know, not, I would love to be able to ask some questions, but I think that'd be more like, what's your favorite podcast on? What do you,
What do you think
what are you
about
cooking?
Yanks?
Yeah. Look, honestly, probably does not like them.
I can see him having no opinion.
That's true. I don't know. I don't know how the Dutch in general feel of Americans.
You know
Probably
that like John Hamm
indifferent.
Mad Men meme where he's like,
I never think
I
about
feel
you.
sorry for you, and he's like, I don't think about
Yeah.
you at all. I think it's probably exactly that situation.
Yeah, they're too busy plugging up all their dams.
Yeah.
Can't
Hey,
think
5
about us.
fingers, 5 holes, baby.
There you go. But yeah, yeah. Again, it's just annoying because it does feel a little like, I guess, nonchalant going off of like the whole Van Dyke stuff too.
Right. Right.
But yeah, man, it's not been a fun season to start this podcast. But
Well, on that
go
note,
ahead.
so look,
Go
I
ahead,
think
yeah.
so. You said, hey, Slot walked it last season, and now this season you're seeing his true colors because there's been a lot of adversity. I'm
Yeah.
saying that we're starting in the basement.
Adversity.
We're getting kicked. We're getting lumps taken out of
Yeah.
us. We're covered in sweat. We got no time to shower between games,
Right.
So if this is the podcast at its worst, I'm saying that I think that we've earned a lot of respect. A lot of respect.
Starting next year, you're gonna see us in the media room asking questions.
You're gonna see us conditioned. You're gonna see us eating, home cooked meals. None of this like microwave over the
Yeah,
sink.
Slot, James from Redhead. What do you think of Yanks?
What was that? Did he ask about Yanks?
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
You
kinda
honestly,
sound-
you were quiet for a
you
second.
sound-
And I was like, was that good? Was that bad? I wasn't
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
My audio cut out. No, you sound like a Bond villain. But you sound like Goldfinger.
It's unpopular to say, but maybe because we lost to PSG.
Actually, you sound like Goldmember, James.
It's a shot.
You sound like Austin Powers is
I think it
Goldmember.
went okay, and then it became Fat Bastard really quickly.
Yeah.
Or like Goldmember, Sean Connery.
Goldmember. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. Well, James, if anyone who wants to hire us in the future, and they're like, these guys are pretty good, but if only there was like a video component to this podcast. I wish there was like someplace I could find like a big library of videos, and they just happen to be a channel on that. Like, where would you point them to? What direction?
Look, that is a brilliant question. I'm so glad you asked because I would point them directly to our YouTube channel at Redheads Podcast. We got the podcast up there. We got the shorts. People are loving the shorts. The shorts are huge. The shorts are short. Go ahead.
I made a joke in the car on my car ride home.
Go on.
About shorts, and I forgot it.
What about?
And I don't know
was it pants?
It did involve pants. Let's see. Let's see. So shorts are great. Who doesn't? Just keep going, James. I really railroaded you there. Sorry about that.
I'm tough. Look, I'm a resilient guy, and that's the thing that I want to say about this podcast. Look, it's no fun watching Liverpool, but it's fun listening to this podcast. We watch the games so that you don't have to, guys.
That's right.
So check us out at Redheads Podcast. It's on YouTube. It's on Instagram. We're at Redheads Podcast on Spotify. We're on Apple. We're on whatever podcatching app. I recently heard that phrase in a different podcast. I didn't particularly like it, but I'm saying it now.
Wait, the phrase podcasting app?
Podcatching.
Oh, podcatching. Yeah, podcatcher.
A podcatcher, yeah. Yeah, exactly. I just, it's kind of feels like saying things are content. I don't like to describe things as content, and that's what this is. This is content, and we're in your podcatching apps. So check us out. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe, We love subscribes. We got our first borderline hate mail. That was exciting. It wasn't hate for us. It was that comment on the Sabazlai short.
Oh, yeah, that was weird. So go check that out.
Yeah, go check that out if you want to see. But we're having a good time in spite of the fact that everyone's having a bad time. And so it's a great time to get involved. That's how you can do it.
That's how you can do it. Well, James, some people...
Take a breath, baby.
...like war. But you and I... we like...
Peace.